everyone. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce a journalist whose career embodies fearless reporting, strong dedication, and an unwavering quest for truth. Our today's esteemed speaker, Ms. Aisha Khanum, is not just a veteran journalist, but also a true pioneer in the media industry. Aisha Khanum hails from Gulbarga district, where she spent her early years shaping her perspectives on the world. She completed her high school education in Hubli before moving to Bangalore University, where she earned her bachelor's degree. However, her passion for storytelling and journalism drew her to pursue postgraduate degree in mass communication from the same university, laying the foundation for her remarkable career in the media industry. Even during her student years, she showed a deep commitment to journalism. She began her career by writing columns for Deccan Herald, showcasing her keen eye for impactful storytelling. Her passion for meaningful reporting soon led her to work as a freelance journalist, where she took on challenging assignments that shaped her identity in the field. Her professional journey is nothing short of inspiring. Over the years, she has worked in India's most respected media houses, including the Asia Age, Aaj Tak, and Star News. However, her defining career milestone came in 2013 when she joined Doordarshan News, one of India's most trusted public broadcasters. Her commitment to journalism and insightful coverage earned her the position of Chief Correspondent for South India, a role that strengthened her influence in the field. With a distinguished career spanning over 26 years, Aisha Khanum has covered some of the most historic events in India and beyond. From reporting on Dr. Rajkumar's kidnapping and Veerappan pursuit to covering 5 general elections across 11 Indian states, she has brought critical stories to light with depth and accuracy. She became the first Indian journalist to visit Sri Lanka's central office during the crisis conflict, providing first-hand reports, and was also on the ground during the South Asian tsunami disaster, capturing human impact with depth and sensitivity. She has significantly covered India's space advancements, reporting on Chandrayaan 1, 2 and 3, bringing the nation's proudest scientific achievements to audience with clarity and precision. Internationally, she has travelled on multiple assignments, covering Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to China, South Korea and Sri Lanka. She also had the rare opportunity to accompany former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on official international visits, providing first-hand insights into critical and global engagements. She has also interviewed prominent spiritual leaders such as Sadhguru and Ravi Shankar Guruji, bringing insightful narratives to the public. Most recently, she was at the forefront of covering the G20 summit held in South India, delivering in-depth reports on the significant global event. Her ability to engage with diverse personalities and cover major international summits showcases her versatility as a journalist. Recognizing her contributions, she has received numerous prestigious awards, including the Premji Achievers Award 2024, presented by the Premji Foundation and PNJ Media Communication, the Madhyama Ratna State Award, the Indira Gandhi Award, the Tipu Sultan Award, the Media Academy Award, and the Best Reporter Award from the Bangalore Press Club. In the year 2024, Aisha Khanum was appointed as the chairperson of the Karnataka Media Academy, marking a historic milestone as she is the first woman and the first person from a minority community to hold this prestigious position. In her new role, she is committed to upholding journalistic integrity, promoting ethical journalism, and amplifying the voices of underrepresented communities. Aisha Khanum is celebrated not just for her journalistic achievements, but also for her efforts in mentoring and inspiring young journalists. Her ability to bring untold stories to light and challenge societal norms has made her a respected figure in the media industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to have a journalist of such caliber in today's auspicious event. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, on behalf of the gathering.
ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಹೂಗುಚ್ಛವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿ ವಿಭಾಗದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯಾದ ಕಲಾವಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶೋಭಾ ಎಂಸಿ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೂವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹಿರಿಯ ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತರು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಸುರೇಂದ್ರ ಶೆಣೈ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಆಶಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಜ್ಜಾಗಿದೆ. ವೇದಿಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದಾಗಿದೆ.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. So, what would you like to listen? English ಹೇಳ್ದ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ದ? English? ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿ. English. Okay. Thank you very much. Lovely name. Senorita is here. Senorita. Remember Shah Rukh Khan? Senorita read this profile of mine, you know. These are called achievements now. If I was in media, ನಾನು ಈಗ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, this is nothing. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಡಿಟರ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, okay, what is the story today? That is the reaction, you know. That is how it is. That is how, you know, you have to continuously sustain in media. ನೀವು ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ತೋರಿಸಿ ಅದು ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಓದುವಾಗ ಇವರು ಏನೇನೋ ನನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, PM ಜೊತೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದು ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಅವಾಗ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೋಸ್ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ sometimes we crib, why have they given me this assignment? I mean, going to Sri Lanka to cover the FTT war, I was pessimistic. Nange yaake kadistha idira? Do they want to take revenge on me? They want me to die in the war? That pessimism, aa thara irutte. But once you go to the field hodmele, when you step there, no looking back. You have to come back with a story. You have to come back. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ಡೆಲಿವರ್ ಮಾಡಿನೇ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ದ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೈ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಐ ಲುಕ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್. ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ ನನಗೆ ಭಾಸ್ಕರ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಜರ್ನಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್. ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್. ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಟಾಪ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್. ಸೊ ಭಾಸ್ಕರ್ ಸರ್ said, just try and explain to them, talk to them about your experience. Students ಗೆ practical experience ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, more than bookish experience. So ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳುದು, private media versus government media. Let me tell you, in India there is no government media. On record I am telling you, there is no government media. You are surprised. You antira Doordarshan is a government media. No. Doordarshan is an autonomous body. It is an autonomous channel, but influenced by the party in power, whichever party. Whether it is Congress party in power, that will influence, to put more of their content in the channel. Whether it is BJP government, that will influence to run the channel. So, government media anta ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ, autonomous body, but sometimes influenced by the party in power. There is a temptation to influence because Doordarshan is a national public broadcaster. National public broadcaster has a completely different role, completely different definition when compared to the private channels we work. So I'll come back to that later. ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. But experience, in evolving media, we just had one seminar ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಈಗ recently ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ 50 years ago, whatever, 50 or 70 years ago. Television is still young. Television is still in a teenage state. But as whole media, print media, everything is evolving, everything is changing. Technology has changed the entire media landscape. So, ನೀವು as a journalist, you are a young journalist, You have got the best time, best opportunities to work in the media right now. But the media scenario, the ethics, the kind of deterioration in the media values has come down a bit. That is why we as Media Academy want to focus on youngsters. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ನಿಜವಾದ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಏನು. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಲೈಕ್ 25 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ 30 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು, ಈಗ ಯಾಕೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕಂಪಲ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್. ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಶೋಭಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಎಡಿಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯಂಗ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ನೌ ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಎಡಿಟರ್. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೀವು ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಇವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿವೆ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಒಂದು 2 ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಇತ್ತು, ETV ಮತ್ತೆ ಉದಯ ಟಿವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ETV ಅಂಡ್ ಉದಯ ಟಿವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಜ್ ತಕ್ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ಡ್ ನೇಷನ್ ವೈಡ್. ನೀವು ಆಜ್ ತಕ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಾಚ್ ಆಜ್ ತಕ್? ನೋ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಚ್. You must watch Aaj Tak because it is one of the news channels which revolutionized the news. The language, the speed, the mode of giving, mode of delivery of news. Aaj Tak ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಾನೆಲ್, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ. ಈಗ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ I should not be taking the names. Then people have started cloning Republic TV's style, the anger style, shouting, screaming, all those things have started. So there is a lot of difference when we started and what is happening now. So Nanna journey, like as I said, I'm a storyteller. Again I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time there was a young girl who was in the last bench and she was Aisha Khanum. Okay, and when she graduated, her only dream was nothing but NDTV job. I want to go and work in NDTV. That time NDTV was top, and NDTV seniors like Maya Sharma, Nupur Basu, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ವೈಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ NDTV. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, then we started looking for jobs. And moreover we had even interacted with Pranay Roy. He said ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಬನ್ನಿ, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅದು ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಇತ್ತು NDTVಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಪಾಸ್ಔಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೋ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಎನಿವೇರ್, ನೋಬಡಿ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಸ್, ನೋ ವೇಕೆನ್ಸೀಸ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಡು ವಿ ಡು? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ನಾವು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ವಾಟ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. As soon as we pass out, we become stars. We become, big Rajdeep Sardesai. We become Barkhadat. There's nothing like that when you come out, when you pass. I'm telling you the reality. New students need tilkobeku. And never even emulate a personality in television. Don't think that you want to become Rajdeep Sardesai. Don't think you want to become Arnab Goswami. Don't think you want to become Barkhadat. You be what you want to be. You have to become the journalist by your own caliber. You have to have an impact. You have to create your own brand in the media. So we waited for a long time. We didn't get job. Then we looked for. Excuse me. So then finally there was one vacancy in the Asian Age newspaper. That time Asian Age newspaper was very popular. It was published from Delhi, but they had Bangalore edition also. And this newspaper, though it was a small time, their circulation was smaller compared to Times of India, but it gave equal competition to Times of India. So somehow reluctantly joined that newspaper. Let us start somewhere. Let me begin somewhere. So friends, that was the ground. That was the point from where you learn. Where I learned how to be a journalist, how to evolve yourself as a journalist. In print media, I will tell you the secrets. ನೀವು ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನೀವು ಆಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ವೆನ್ ಯು ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಯು ಕಮ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಯು ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಕಬ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್, ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಯಾರ್ಯಾವ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇದು ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪೋಲ್ಟ್ರಿ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಮ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎನಿಬಡಿ. But you have to report. That is your ground. That's your first ground. Press club, any press club. District ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ press club reporting, ಕಬ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. So press club is the first ground where you learn how to approach, how to open up, how to ask questions. Then in your newspaper, you have beats. From cub reporting, then you go to education reporting. No, from cub reporting you are given corporation reporting. Corporation reporting, education, environment, health, then politics. ಈಗ ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್, crime reporting also, because you have mic in hand. So as soon as you come to television, you are given the mic, you go and report. That is why ಆ ಥರ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ when you deliver, because you have not been trained enough on ground. In print media, you are trained very well. You don't get chance out of the box to just go to Vidhan Soudha. ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಬೀಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಐ ಲವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಬೀಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ವೇಟೆಡ್ ನನಗೆ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬೀಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಬೀಟ್. ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಓವರ್ ನೈಟ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಬೀಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಡೆಕ್ಕನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ you literally get old, almost at the time of retirement you get political reporting. That was the time those days. But ಈಗ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So we used to struggle hard, and my first political reporting came during one of the Lok Sabha elections. So I graduated slowly, and then I started looking for more options. Then I moved to television. That was the time when television, Aaj Tak launched its 24-hour news channel, 24/7. 24 घंटे used to say, 24 घंटे सबसे तेज ಅಂದ್ರೆ fastest. You must have seen the delivery of Aaj Tak news style. That was one of the experiments that changed across the nation. In India, I must say in India, across India, because Aaj Tak brought in different style of reporting, different style of language reporting, urgency, and everything changed. And then slowly the regional media realized, oh, Aaj Tak model successful ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು TRP ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Aaj Tak, it is becoming every word of mouth, it is becoming successful. Then regional media started looking at this success model. So one by one, regional media started coming out with Aaj Tak model. I remember Aaj Tak ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ BBC ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, CNN ಇಂದ they used to come from there. Same teams trained the regional media also. Like ETV started with the same training. Then other so many channels, the regional channels started cloning Aaj Tak model. But what happened is Aaj Tak had a base. Aaj Tak had India Today group. ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗಝಿನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಬೇಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಸಕ್ಸೀಡೆಡ್. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಆಜ್ ತಕ್ ತರ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಆಜ್ ತಕ್ ತರ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಕೊಡೋಣ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. When small channels started, when the regional channels started, they didn't have that back support, like a team of good journalists. Like Aaj Tak India Today head Arun Puri was heading. So content wise they were very strong. Content is the king in media even today. So when when the media started, the regional media, even the Hindi channels started cloning Aaj Tak. Slowly these things started failing, because they didn't have the journalistic content, they didn't have the back support, they didn't have proper revenue model. People criticize media. Media values erode ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, media values ಇಲ್ಲ, journalists ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Those who are on field are all good journalists. They are all well trained journalists. But what happens when you see it as an organization setup ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, there is lot of things for that organization to think about. Revenue model irbeku, TRP irbeku, paying salaries. There are so many things that come along with the news channel package. So that is when the deterioration started. So in Aajtak, reporting for Aajtak was very different for us compared to what we reported in print media. When I joined television, initially ನನ್ನ training television ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. So first script ಬರ್ದೆ. Again I did some education story. My script in first story was 2 page. Imagine television only 2 page story ಬರ್ದೆ ನಾನು. Just like print media, you write 4 column story. You love to write 4 column stories in print media. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು box item ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ. In print media, we should have a box item. So ಆ ಥರ ನಾನು I wrote 4 page. Then my editor saw this. What is this? He said. I said, this is a script about donations in schools. This is a script. I mean, 2 page script it was. Then he saw this. He tore it right in front of me. This is not the script you were supposed to write for television. He tore and threw it. The editors are very hard on you. They're hard because of certain reason. You know, they want you to learn. It's not like say, oh, Aisha, very nice 2 page you wrote, bani chennagide anta helakagalla. You just tore the script, threw it on my face. Then he said, this is not television. Television is writing to the visuals. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, writing to the visuals. Play the visuals, write to the visuals. And your sentences should be, I mean, maybe as good as 100 words should be in 1 line, 1 sentence. But then you learn, you evolve, you unlearn what you did in print media. Unlearn and relearn is a continuous process in media. If you don't relearn, if you don't unlearn what you have done before, then you are a media illiterate. You are not changing, you are a media illiterate. That's what we were told. Very hard training you get, you know, when you get good channels, when you get opening in good channels. You get very hard training. You train like that. They speak, you know, in a very harsh tone to you. That is how journalists are supposed to learn that. And most of us journalists, we take all this, shouting, screamings in the newsroom. But outside we come here and we start like, I am the journalist. You know, I am asking you that question. Answer me this. You have to develop that attitude. You have to develop that role. You know, you have to develop your personality. ನಿಮ್ಮ personality change ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡಿಟರ್ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಿರ್ಚಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಬೈದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವತ್ತು. I feel bad. But once you come out, ನೀವು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, you are sitting in the press conference, you cannot be thinking about the editor. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ, that you have to ask. So in the difference between reporting for print media and private news channels was evolving media. As I said, right to the visuals, technology use ಮಾಡೋದು. Then sometimes ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. You feel your privacy is lost. The camera is doing everything. As a print reporter, you don't show your story to anyone. If the print reporter, even today, ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ನೋಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರು they will be writing very privately. They will not even show what others are doing. It is an exclusive story for them. But in television, it changes. You have to adapt to the technology. You have to change as per the technology and write to the visuals. So that was one good experience. Then Star News came in India. That was another big revolution. Star News at the national level. NDTV was already there, but Star News entered because this was a Rupert Murdoch owned channel, a foreign entity. ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ 35% ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ಗೆ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. 70% Indian partner, 30% foreign partner. So Rupert Murdoch's media came. Oh, that created another different revolution. So, but Star News didn't have reporters. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರೋದು reporters, trained reporters. Star News started coaching Aajtak reporters because they are already trained. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ trained reporters ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. BBC ಇಂದ trained, CNN ಇಂದ trained ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So Star News coached all the Aajtak reporters. Even I also joined the group. So the editors were angry. Our CEO was angry. Or just because they are giving you double pay, you're going. This is not done. All these things happened. Initially 150 people joined Star News. Ultimately, after 6 months, the CEO also followed. The editor also joined Star News. So it changed because he understood. Because Star News brought in another kind of approach, presentation style. Star News taught the reporters how to be presentable in the newsroom, not only in the newsroom but also outside. It shaped the personality of reporters. It told you how you should, give your news without shouting. Whereas in Ashtak, you were told to be aggressive. You were told to be like, angry. And show your commitment towards journalism. But in Star, you have to give news, but in a proper way. Don't shout, don't scream. One thing we were told, you are talking to people in their drawing room. When you are appearing on TV, people are watching you in their drawing room. So when you go to somebody's drawing room, do you shout? Do you say, what have you cooked today? What are you giving for dinner? Do you shout? You don't shout. You have to be decent. You have to talk politely. So Star News came with a different idea of presentation. They brought another revolution. And the style of reporting, the style of reporting, everything changed. The content was not very really, the king here. The main idea was to presentation of news, urgency and accuracy. This was the Star News. So what I'm trying to say is, in private channel itself, there is diverse news ownership. One you have Indian ownership, one you have foreign ownership. So there is diverse ownership in the news channel itself. And the importance was that we were told that we were independent journalists. All of us are independent journalists. But yes, there was little bit of editorial control by the owners. The owners did control the content, private channel owners. So that is where I bring in Doordarshan now. Here in private channels, the owners' ideology, their content sometimes reflected on that, on your reporting style. But whereas you say Doordarshan is a government control, right? So what is the difference between the private owner channel and the DD channel? Not much difference. At least in the present day, ಈಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಬ್ಲರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಲೈನ್. ನನಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್ ಆಗಿವೆ, ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಸತಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಈಗ. Because private channels have forgotten that they have freedom to report. They are independent. ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿ. Why do you want to, subscribe to an ideology? Why do you want to report what your owner thinks as per his ideology? So, ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿಡಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನನಗೆ ಟೀಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಓ, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು, ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So my answer was, ಸರಿ ನಾನು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. I will report as per the government's requirement, because Sarkari channel has its own agenda. The agenda is the welfare of the people, schemes that the government launches, and promote the government policies. They don't show distress news. Just distress news they don't focus. They focus on positive things, development things. Government is doing this for you, government is doing that for you. So this is their agenda. What is the private channel doing? So ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಇದು ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಯು ಡೂ ಯುವರ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ವೈ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟ್? ನಾನು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಯು ಆರ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ಇಟ್ ನೆವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಫ್ ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್ ದೆನ್ ದೂರದರ್ಶನ್. So reporting styles in the Doordarshan changes. Once you come to Doordarshan, again you have to unlearn. ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಅನ್ಲರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಬಂದೆ ಆಸ್ಟಾಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಲರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಲರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿಡಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ಅನ್ಲರ್ನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೀಲರ್ನ್. ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ awakening for me. Even when you come to Doordarshan, it is not about urgency to break news. There is nothing called breaking news for Doordarshan. First, accuracy is important. Check the facts. Unless you have paper in hand, your news is not authentic. ನಾನು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ there was one government change. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ is going to take over as ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ರಾಜಭವನ್ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ರೆಡಿ. ದ DGP of the state tells me tomorrow morning he's coming to take over. So I was in Doordarshan that time. Then I told my office, I said, break the news. I happen to know that Yadurappa is going to take over. My office said very coolly, no, do you have it on paper? Is there anything released from them? I said, no, I know DGP is telling me. I said, no, he is here. If I was in private channel, I would have made a sensation, breaking news. None, according to my sources, breaking news. It was such a big story. But Doordarshan says, is there anything on paper? I said, nothing. How can you ask me if there is anything on paper? Because these are my sources. He said, no, wait for some time. Let it come from Raj Bhavan. Do you have any communique from Raj Bhavan? Because Raj Bhavan normally sends it, that so timing, you have a very nothing was there in my hand. But I knew, I was sure that because the DGP is telling me. So what happens is, unless you have authentic information in hand, the news is not allowed to go on air in Doordarshan. That is why they say controlled media. But it is also right, somewhere in a way, authentic information has to go on air. You just can't put it on air. So when they say that government controlled, it should actually mean that it is ethically controlled sometimes. But yes, there are flaws in Doordarshan also. I don't say that Doordarshan is doing extremely great things. There are flaws. There are temptations by the ruling parties. I have worked during both the regimes. When Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, I have worked in Doordarshan. When Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister, 10 years I worked. When Manmohan Singh, his last 1 year I was in Doordarshan. So I know both. How both used Doordarshan, how both influenced Doordarshan. But it was not about individuals. Sometimes they tend to, these days, they tend to make it very individualistic. Individual ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But actually, it is about the government projection. ನಿಮ್ಮ government ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, how are you projecting your government? These are the important things. For Doordarshan reporting, ನಿಮ್ಮ sources, their own sources. PIB there, then information department, different information. So those sources give you news. You have to depend on them. Whereas in private media, you are independent to have your own source, but you should be sure that your source is giving you right information. So this is the basic difference. Here the information has to be from a government-based agency in government controlled. When I don't say government-owned, government-controlled media, you have to have you are dependent on their own agencies. So this is how we started adjusting to that, unlearn and relearn new things. So there are a lot of protocols that come in Doordarshan. Especially when you are reporting a PM assignment, most exciting thing. All the youngsters, I tell you, whatever may be the case, whatever may be the definition of Doordarshan, you must work in Doordarshan once in your lifetime. Be prepared for that. But you have to be mature enough to work. You cannot just throw tantrums and say, no, this is my what I am saying is right. This is what I think. I take my report. You cannot have that. You have to have that maturity. Immediately you cannot show up that you are a big journalist. You have to have that maturity to handle Doordarshan type of reporting. So when a Prime Minister is reporting a Prime Minister event happens, it gives you goosebumps. The preparations, the kind of brief you get, what you're supposed to report, what you're not supposed to report, it gives you goosebumps. And it gives you immense pride. I tell you, accompanying a Prime Minister outside the country gives you immense pride. Because you are representing your country along with the Prime Minister. As a journalist, you are also representative of the government that time. So you have big responsibility. You are reporter you are India representative. You are representing your own Prime Minister as such. So that is really challenging and exciting experience, that you get. And also the sense of pride swells. Prime Minister वापस बंद में political ideology बेरे इर्बोदु. But when you go abroad, you stand as an Indian. So your reporting stands for the country. So when you are reporting even for private channels don't change much of their the line of editorial line. They don't change much when they go for foreign countries. They also follow the diplomatic lines that are given to them. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ by choice. There is a diplomacy channel. So you have to report as per the diplomatic line that you are given. Sometimes some channels take liberty and criticize. But moreover, you have to report as per the diplomatic brief that you get. So this is the sense of pride that you get, When you are reporting for an event like G20, I was reporting for G20 across, so about 13 or 15 meetings happened across South India. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Bangalore. So about 15 meetings, different kshetrali, women empowerment, weather, there were about 15 meetings. G20 reporting ಮಾಡುವಾಗ DD was the most prominent channel, official channel, reporting for G20 events. Whereas there were private channels. Their agenda was only to come and check whether the statement is prepared or not, final statement. Whether India will agree with Russia or not. Only last, their idea was only that, just see whether the statement is prepared or not. Whereas DD reported everything in detail. Every meeting, every agenda was reported in detail. So that is, that's the job of a journalist or an information officer, as you will be identified with when you are with a channel like Doordarshan. So these these were the challenges, exciting times that I had when I reported. Now, when you report a story like tsunami, you tend to play with figures in private channels. In tsunami, you tend to say, according to sources in the village, the number of dead are 500. But whereas when you are in Doordarshan, when you are in a public broadcaster, you cannot say that as per some sources said. You have to get the figures from the authentic district magistrate. You have to get the government sources. But dig out if that person is giving you false report. You are independent to do that. You have your own. Once a journalist, always a journalist. Whether you work for DD or whether you work for private channel. So as a journalist, your job is to dig out the truth, dig out more information, ask questions. Asking questions is the right of the journalist. It is only we, the journalists, are licensed. We are officially licensed to ask questions anywhere to the authority. So dare to ask the questions, whether you are in Doordarshan or whether you are in private channels, so that you come to the truth, you dig out the truth, and you present a fair story. That is what makes you a successful journalist. So more stories are there, I have to tell you. But as you progress, one channel one media and the ಬೇರೆ media jump ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. As you progress, you sometimes try to get into a comfort zone. Comfort zone is not there in journalist dictionary. Never get into comfort zone. Always be like a first day journalist. Always be like a cover reporter. Learn every day, unlearn and relearn. Every day. That should be your constant, constant search for truth. So in journalism, you cannot skip into a comfort zone. Say, oh, now I'm a senior journalist, I can sit and relax. My biodata is now shining. You can't do that. In journalism, you are told you're as good as your last byline. ನಿನ್ನೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನು byline ಇತ್ತು, ನೀವು ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ. What you have done today. That is important. So you are as good as your last byline, or you are as good as your last PTC. Always remember in mind. Keep in mind, so that you have that constant thirst to know, to do more stories, to be a better storyteller, and not to get into a comfort zone. I am reminded of a story of a comfort zone. There was this king who was watching two birds sitting on a tree from his window. And then he saw that, there were two small, birds, the babies. One bird learned to flew and it flew off. The other was struggling. They were both at the same time, they were born at the same time, but one flew, other bird could not fly. So the king was very surprised, why this bird is not flying? King doesn't have much job, he just wants to peep out of the window, everything is being taken care of by his ministry and everything. So he is every day watching that bird, why it is not flying. Then he tries his best, he calls the veterinary doctor and all, they check and they say, nothing wrong with that bird, it can fly. Even then the bird doesn't fly. So the king, so one day one person comes and says, I can make this bird fly, what will you give me? So the king said, you ask anything, I'll give you. But a bird should fly. So the king said, okay, I'll give you, whatever you want. But see to that it flies. I want the bird to fly. You know what he does? And then the next day, the king comes to the window and sees the bird flies. That bird, which looked very weak, very sad, looked like it had died, it starts flying. So the king is surprised. He asks, what did you do? How did you achieve this? So this man says, nothing. I just cut the branch where it was sitting and it flew by itself. That is a comfort zone. That bird has slipped into the comfort zone. So don't wait till somebody cuts your branch. Don't wait till that moment comes. So what I'm saying, don't slip into the comfort zone once you become journalist, once you come out, once you graduate, as a journalist. So comfort zone is the most dangerous thing for a journalist because you stop critical thinking. ನಿಮ್ಮ critical thinking ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು affect ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. You will think on one story, just type it and leave it. You will not have that passion to tell the truth. You will not have that passion to deliver that story. So don't slip into comfort zone, whether you are a journalist or whether you are not journalist. Continue your aspiration, continue your search for the truth and build your career on integrity. If you are strong, if you are an integrated journalist, nobody will touch you. Somebody was just mentioning that there are dangers to journalists, there are dangers, they get threats and all. But if you have integrity, if your story is based on truth, you have nothing to fear. No one will question you. Because if the truth is before the authorities, they get scared. If somebody is doing something wrong, if the truth is shown to them, they get scared. So they will not harm you. Why will they harm you? You are standing, on your integrity and the true story and honesty. So be well prepared to face the circumstances. Be prepared. Don't, there was a joke, why did a journalist bring a ladder to the press conference? Because he wanted to reach higher in his profession. He wanted to reach higher in his profession. So that is a joke. Dare to take the ladder to the press conference. Tagon hogi, ladder press conference tagon hogi. But be prepared with the answer. Why I brought the ladder, I will tell you. Say that, be daring. I felt very bad morning when I asked you question. Nimmali yaar interaction madilla. This is the first step. Shed your hesitation. You cannot sit like this. You cannot. You're not students of chemistry, biology, or botany. I was actually a science student, but you are journalism students. You should be interactive. You cannot just sit and wonder, what is happening in front of me, who's speaking. You cannot do that. Shed your inhibitions. Shed your inhibitions first. Especially for the women, young girls, I say that. I addressed one event in Koppal University. And then I saw the girls were so shy. Not one girl student came forward to interact. I was very disappointed. ನಾನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದ್ರು ನನ್ನ ಹಿಂದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಗರ್ಲ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು. ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಫೋಟೋ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್. ಮೇಡಮ್, ವೈ ಇಸ್ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೇಜ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್? Madam, how is the headline decided? They had such intelligent questions, but why that fear in the classrooms to ask questions? Shed that fear. You should have that courage to ask questions, even in the classroom. Ask questions. That question can be a stupid question also. Sometimes in press conference, if you ask some silly question, you will get a headline from the person who answers. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Keep on questioning. When we were young, ನಾವು ಕಬ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಸಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ನಾವು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ನಗ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಇವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಾರ್, ಯಾವ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. Then I slowly started coming out of my shell. Like ನಿಮ್ ತರ ಇದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. Not that I was born to stand here and speak. I started questioning simple questions. Then you know that you get replies. Then you get noted as a journalist. Some journalist is sitting here. You have a question. Oh, wonderful. Come to.
As a great journalist, how much difficulty you faced in the field and desk?
How much difficulty?
As a
As a woman journalist, lots, yeah. As a woman, any journalist will. Difficulty, I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. I faced a lot of difficulties. I was like, when I was in one of the newspapers, my editor told me, don't come to office till you have a headline story tomorrow. Till you have a byline story tomorrow. You know, then you feel sad, you feel disappointed. I just submitted my resignation letter and went home. But then they called me and said, your resignation is not accepted. Come with the story tomorrow. So you have to go with the story. Mostly gender doesn't matter when you are doing stories. But as a woman, and let me tell you, I'm still scared of darkness. I'm still scared, to go out alone at 8 p.m. Just like you. I'm sure, all of us have same fears. All of us, not just because you're a woman and just because you're a journalist, you don't have it. You have to accept those fears, acknowledge your fears. Then overcome those. Don't show people. Don't show them that you are scared to go there. But be daring enough.
Is there any difficulty with women's harassment in the journalism?
Unfortunately, it does happen. It does happen. But when you're bored, when you're so nobody did this, nobody did touch me. I build up an image. I said journalism is not just about reporting. It is about cultivating personality. ನಿಮ್ಮ personality ನೀವು cultivate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. You have to say, don't mess with me. That kind of personality you have to inculcate. It is left to you. What is preventing you from building a strong personality? Nothing. Nobody will stop you. So keep that attitude. You cannot mess with me. That is all. So then, but yes, there are difficulties. It's not easy for women. There are still night shifts. There are still, in print media you have night shifts till 2 p.m. But you should be prepared. You should have a strong support system at home also. You should have a support system where your parents believe you, where your family supports you. This will take you a long way. My family support, though I come from a very conservative family, minority family, but my parents supported me. They had, hope that I can do it. So you should have a very strong support system at home also. This matters. This will take you a long way in making you a courageous journalist. You should have courage. It comes naturally, when you come to the field. Here, if you sit and think, it won't. When I was a student like you, I used to think, night shift hoga, 2 p.m., you have to go home, how will I do it? It just comes. When you come to the field, step by step you learn. You are climbing a ladder, a success ladder. So one by one you take. You just can't step on the first step and just run to the last one. You can't. Step by step it comes. So you have to inculcate your personality also. That is more important. Anybody, any more interactions?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Karthik from second MCJ. So my question is asking the experience in the job market. You were mentioning about DD, joining to DD. So I saw more advertisements asking 6+ years of experience in the market. So I am asking, the thing is, why can't they or others give preference to the talents rather than the experience? Because I've seen in one Doha is also there. Guru Budhirage Chele Shankar Bange. So in that factor, why can't talent overtake the experienced staff? So
see, I'll tell you why. There are requirements for different positions, right? An experienced person can do that particular task with that particular experience, There may be freshers applications also. There will be freshers who can apply for Doordarshan. There are such posts also. But when you come with an experience, it gets easier to get into the task immediately. Most of the channels don't have time to train everybody every time. So come prepared. Who's stopping you from taking up a small job in a small newspaper or in a small channel? It is not below your standards to work for a small newspaper or a regional newspaper. Actually now English medium ali hodaga nammal tumba what to say. There was one pride. Now regional media we will not work. ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಆ ಥರ ಇತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್, ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಮೀ, the regional media is the king. The regional media is the base. So you have to, when I graduated from mass communication, my medium of instruction was English. Then when I joined Aster, I was very proud, I am in a national channel. But then Aster is a regional media, it's a Hindi channel, right? So my thought process changed. It is not about media, it is about being a journalist. It is about how you adapt to the language, how you adapt to the change. I really suggest all of you should learn more than one language, so that you come to the national media also. I feel very sad, national media alli Karnataka in the representation iralla. ನಾನು ಜಾಬ್ ಬಿಟ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೂರದರ್ಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋರು ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೈಲಿಂಗ್ವಲ್ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ನೀವು ಒಂದ್ಗಿಂತ 2 ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ you can be national reporters, you can go to national level of reporting. So this is important. I'm not telling you that you should learn Hindi or you should learn English. It will be an added advantage if you know more than one language. In in Karnataka, what happens? For national reporting, they send reporters somewhere from Bihar, UP, some God-forsaken places. And when they come to report here, they have no clue about the local sensitivity. One interesting incident here. When Dr. Rajkumar passed away, he died. His body was kept at Kantirwa Stadium. Okay, I was working in one of the news channels. I will not name it. One of the Hindi news channels. So that day, Supreme Court had given some verdict on dance bar girls, that they should not be allowed to dance in Mumbai bars. And here in Karnataka, the big story was Dr. Rajkumar passed away. His body was good, and we know the sensitivity. For us, all of us were like so sad, and we were like, Dr. Rajkumar, an icon of Karnataka, everything came to a standstill for us. But for the people sitting in Delhi, nothing like that, no sensitivity. They may think Rajkumar is a big, for them he is a big superstar, but that connect, that sensitivity, that touch, Kannadiga touch hegiruttalla, athara illa. So one of the person on desk parliament tells me, Supreme Court has just given one order that dance bar girls cannot dance in Mumbai bars. Can you get me reaction? Imagine, at that moment, somebody asking me to get reaction. This is a sensitivity. This is what I tell sensitivity. And what would have been my reaction is like totally a different story. I blew up. I said, how dare you ask? Because we are at a story which is something different here. We are at a story where a state icon has passed, and you are asking me to that story. So you have to fight for your stories. Last workshop at Mysore, Maya Shata was telling how we continuously fight for our stories. It is not, you just don't have to do story, you have to market your story, you have to fight for a story, you have to fight for that slot in your story. This fight continues. When you come with a story, your job doesn't end by filing a story and goes. If you are a good journalist, you want your story to be in a certain slot. You know that the story fits in the headline. Why the story is not in the headline? You have to fight for that. Why that particular content was cut off? You have to fight for that. So it is a constant fight for good journalism. When you are a good, well-trained journalist, you know all these tricks where you portray your story as you have given it, and you want it the people who matter, for the people who matter. One more example I tell you. When I was covering Kaveri agitation in Mandya, I was reporting for Aster that time. I was doing my live in Hindi. I stood there and did my live in Hindi. My live got over. Then there was a huge crowd on the other side. So I wanted to take some vox pops from the farmers. But my Hindi, they heard my Hindi reporting live, and then there was a huge crowd. I went to the farmers. So I just said, can you give the mic? I just put the mic. The farmer started speaking even before I could ask a question because they are so agitated. It's such a sensitive issue. He started speaking even before I asked a question. So ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಬಂದರು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀಪ್ಪ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬಿಡು. He said like that. He said that in Kannada. He thought I am a Delhi journalist. Because I did my Hindi reporting, he thought I am from Delhi. ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಕಾವೇರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋದ್ರು. Then I turned back, I said, sir, ಯಾಕೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಓ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು? Then they all came back. They flocked around me. ನೋಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇದಾಗಿದೆ. This is what the sensitivity is required. You want that connect with the ground. My Kannada may be limited, but I am from Karnataka. I am a Kannadiga. So it may be limited, when I am delivering it. But you are grounded. You are from that region. So they all flocked around me. Then they started talking about them. I got more box calls than I wanted. I wanted 2, I got 20. So this is the connect. That's why I tell you, it's good to learn more than 2 languages so that you become national reporters. You represent the state. We from our state should represent our stories. I'm not saying we should be biased with our own state, but it makes a difference when we are representing our story at national level.
One last question from the side of budding journalists. What's a pro tip to enter the Doordarshan media? Like, what's your suggestion to put as a base to enter that media?
As I said, first learn your basics. I always tell most of my young journalist friends, work in print media at least for 1 year, at least for 2 years. There you learn the basics of journalism. There you learn the basic values, the core values of journalism. Then it helps you. Whether you go to television, private or Doordarshan, it does help you. But always ensure that you go to a newspaper, work for a print media for some time. You'll be able to understand the media better. Step by step you will understand the media better. Even in Doordarshan, now they are calling freshers, and when they call freshers, they train. Doordarshan internationally has also started now. DD India, which is a English international channel. So we were just trained recently, before I quit. 1 year before I quit, they had called trainers from CNN. So they train you because they wanted our delivery to be in matching with the international channels. Because Indians don't speak English as good as BBC or CNN. So we were given training and certain etiquettes to be followed, just to show that international level. So they give you training even when you are at the starting level. But be prepared to know what, when you enter, you should know the definition of national public broadcaster. Okay? You should know the definition of national public broadcaster and what your role is there in that. Otherwise you will not survive. You understand what I mean? Otherwise you will not be able to survive.
Okay, madam, one question you can answer.
Yes. One question you can take from Shobha also, because she is heading the input in Swarna News and also ಷಣತಜ from print media point of view. 2 questions you can take because they are experts in regional media. Kannada media experts ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So Shobha, one question ನೀವು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Input wise ನೋಡಿ ಇದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಆಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. You have to input editors are there, page makers are there, graphic layout makers are there, cameramen. There are so many varied roles in newspaper offices in media. So don't just have that media means only journalists, only the people with mics. There are so many roles. So Shobha is the input editor. You can just ask your queries to Shobha and also ಷಣತಜ, because print perspective he can give you better idea.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mic ಕೊಡಿ.
Ma'am, my name is Glenn. I'm from Gಣದಲ University. So I had a question: why don't the print media have the margin for the advertisement? Because I have seen that when the advertisement comes, the reports or the articles will be struck down and the advertisement will be published, even though they have the plenty of the advertisement in the paper. Why don't the media have the margin for the advertisement?
ನಾನು ಕುಂದಾಪುರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕುಂದಾಪುರ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ 20 ವರ್ಷ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪೇಪರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಆಗ ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ಗೆ 2 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ನಂತರ ಅದು 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಇವತ್ತು ಆಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ 2 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಉಳಿತಿತ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ಗೆ 12 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬೀಳ್ತದೆ. ಆ 12 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯನ್ನ 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ಇಳಿಸಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ನಡೆಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಈಗ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟಿನ ರೇಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಏರಿದೆ. ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಖರ್ಚಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕೋ ಅದರದ್ದು ಸಹ ತುಂಬ ಏರಿದೆ. ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನೋ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಲೆಕ್ಕ. ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ಇವತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ತುಂಬಾ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಬಹುದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ, ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ಉಳಿಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ಬಹಳ ಅಗತ್ಯ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ನಿಮ್ದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಅಗತ್ಯಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನಮ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಹೀರಾತಿಗಾಗಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಜಾಹೀರಾತು ನೋಡದೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಜಾಹೀರಾತಿಗಾಗಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಸುದ್ದಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ, ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಜುಕೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಪೇಪರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ಉಳಿಸುವಷ್ಟು ಜಾಹೀರಾತನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್.
ಹಲೋ ಆಯೇಷಾ ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಆಗೋ ಆಸೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ರೋಚಕವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಗಿಂತನೂ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ 24 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಡೆಸ್ಕಲ್ಲೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡೋ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡೋ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡೋ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ನ, ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡೋ P2Cನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ, ಅವನ್ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ಓಡು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಓಡು ಅಂತ. ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧದ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಲೈವ್ ಚಾಟ್, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧದ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಲೈವ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಏಕೈಕ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಅವರು. ಒಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧದ ಒಳಗಡೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಯಾಕೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಯಾರೋ ಶರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕೋತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಸರ್, ಏನೋ ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವರಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಚೇರ್ ನೆಗಿತಾರೆ, ಈ ಚೇರ್ ದಾಟ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಚೇರ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಂಗಾಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಆ ಡ್ರಾಮಾನ ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್. ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧದಿಂದಲೇ ನೇರ ಪ್ರಸಾರ, ಲೈವ್ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಲೈವ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಅವರು ಲೈವ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್.
And also, good input editor will make you the best star. If it is a bad editor, you should have Shobha in every newsroom. News ತರ ಜನ ಇರಬೇಕು. If you fight with them,
Shobha is not just input editor, she was a taskmaster.
So good taskmaster. Desk should have a good taskmaster.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನ ತೆಗಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗೇನೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ದೊರಕಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗೆ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡೋದು, ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು, ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ನೀವು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ವಾಕ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಈಗ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. ನಾವು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದ ನಂತರ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೇಟ್ ಇದೆ, 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ರೇಟ್, ಈ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಕಲರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ, ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ತಗೋಬೇಡಿ. ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಕ್ ನನ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋ ವಿಷಯಗಳು, ಸಿನಿಮಾ, ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವೇ ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಬರೆದು ನೀವೇ ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಈ ತರ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಹಾಕು, ಈ ತರ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಹಾಕು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋಷ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಯಾವುದೋ ಹೊಸ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದೂರದರ್ಶನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಯಾವ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಹಾಡಾದ್ರೂ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾರೋ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಶೋಕ ಗೀತೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಕರಡಿಗೆ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಿ ಹಿಂಡಬಹುದು, ಕೊರೋನಾನ ಮಹಾಮಾರಿ ಅನ್ಬೋದು, ಹೆಮ್ಮಾರಿ ಅನ್ಬೋದು, ರಕ್ಕಸಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ, ಅದು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವಿಟಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಗ ಇರೋ ಜಾಗ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಗೆ ಬರಕ್ ನನ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನನ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಚೆ ಓಡಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋರಿಗೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಡೆಸ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ನಿಮ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುವಂತ ವರ್ಕ್ಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಇದಾವೆ. ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು, ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಎಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ನನಗೆ ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಸೆ ಐತೆ, ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಎಷ್ಟು 10 ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 20 ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವಿಟಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಡೆಸ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಡೆಸ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಓದಿ. ಓದ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಬಂದಾಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಳು ಅವ್ರಿಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್, ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್, ಈ ತರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ, ನಾನು ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ ನೋಡಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಹೀಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಆಂಕರ್ ಯಾರು, ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಟಿವಿ ನೈನ್ ಆಂಕರ್ ಹೆಸರು ಬರ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಂಕರ್ ಬರೆಯೋ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸುವರ್ಣ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿ ಹೌದಾ, ನಾನು ಅವ್ರನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಯಾರೋ ಹೆಸರು ಬರ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಆಂಕರ್ ಹೆಸರು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸುವರ್ಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೌದಾ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯೋಚನೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಯಾವ ಫೇವ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಂಕರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನೀವು 10 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಒಬ್ಬ 10 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಆಂಕರ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೊಸ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಟಾಪ್ 4 ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಟಾಪ್ 4 ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನೀವು 15 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋ ಆಂಕರ್ಸೇ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. 15 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಇರೋ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಗಳೇ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷದವರೇ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಗಳು. ಹೊಸ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟರ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೊಸ ಆಂಕರ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಂತ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನ? ಖಂಡಿತ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ಅವಕಾಶ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಾನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಬೇಕು. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರೋಬೇಕು. ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬಾ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ, ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರೆಯಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಮಹಾಪ್ರಾಣ, ಅಲ್ಪಪ್ರಾಣ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಡಿಸಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಏನು ಬರಲ್ಲ. ವಾಂತಿ ಬೇದಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಡಿಸಿಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಅಂತ ಇಷ್ಟು ನಾವ್ ಒಂದ್ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶಾಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನೋಡಿ, ಇವ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಚಾನಲ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವೇ ಹಾಕೋದು ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗಿ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಆಂಕರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಓಡಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಲು. ನನ್ನ ಆಂಕರ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ನನ್ನ ಗುರಿ, ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ, ಕನಸು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ಓಡಾಡಿ ಅತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ಹುಡುಗ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ನೀನು, ನಾನು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಓದು, ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಓದ್ಲು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಸು, ನಾವು ಯಾವ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕೋದೇ ಓದು ಅಂತ. ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳಿಗೆ, 2 ಲೈನ್ ಓದಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ನಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ. ನೀನೇನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಅನುಶ್ರೀ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಝೀನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಕರಿಂಗು, ಆ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಂಕರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲೂ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವ್. ಸಖತ್ ಹಾಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಖತ್ ಗುರು, ಅದು ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆ ಇದೆ. ಆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಭಾಷೆ ತುಂಬಾ, ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಒತ್ತು ದೀರ್ಘ ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ. ಸೊ ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಆಂಕರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು, ನಾವು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಇಂದ ಲೈವ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ನೀವು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಹುಡುಗ್ರೆ, ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕಾಪಿ ಎಡಿಟರ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಯುದ್ಧದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಇಸ್ರೇಲ್ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಯುದ್ಧದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಲೈವ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬಾಲಿವುಡ್ ಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ಖಾನ್ ಏನೋ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋನೇ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಗೆ ಬಂದ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ತರ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋರ್ಗು ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿದೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೋಕೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬನ್ನಿ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಓದಿ. ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದಿ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಓದಿ. ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆದೇನೋ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ಗೊಬ್ರು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಬಂದಾಗ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಓದ್ತೀಯಾ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ದಿನ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಓದು. ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ, ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಇಷ್ಟನೋ, ಯಾವ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಷ್ಟನೋ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೇನೆ ನೀವು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ, ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒಂದು ಇದು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಲ್ಲೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಧೈರ್ಯನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗ ಬಂದಿದೆ, 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಒಂದು ಸುವರ್ಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅವ್ನು ಕಲಿಯಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಈಚೆ ಬರಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಿಂದಾನೇ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡಿ. ಭಾಷೆ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ಕಲಿಬಹುದು, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ಕಲಿಬಹುದು, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕಲಿಬಹುದು. ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಫಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಫಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಬಿಡಿ.